Greetings, everyone. Stefan here, streaming to you from New York City. Excited to be joining you here at DevCon today, and I'll be sharing with you a TPM's guide on becoming an engineer whisperer. So, a quick debrief on me. I'm a technical program manager with Algolia for the Dashboard User Experience and Discovery org. A fun fact, as of today, it's actually been 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days that I joined. Now, that's a lot of twos, and if you're into numerology, it must mean something great, perhaps a segment at DevCon. Well, I've been in tech for a little over 7 years. I started out in hospitality tech, led global integration projects, and moved on to e commerce during the e commerce boom and helped set up companies for success. In my time with Algolia, I've had the privilege of working with our identity billing and usage team, and am now venturing into merchandising, dashboard and front end experiences, teams, and their projects, to name a few. Something we'll explore in this talk and will hopefully give you a glimpse into my brain and the mechanics. I come from an anthropology background, and that's one of the invisible hats that I'm constantly wearing and has helped me, as I like to colloquially refer to myself, an engineer whisperer. Most of you must be wondering why anthropology, and perhaps even might be needing a refresher on what anthropology is. So, I've relied on anthropological methods to not only set up my programs for success, but to support my engineering teams. The topic of anthropology merits its own presentation, but for the importance of context and for this presentation, I'll give you a three liner. Anthropology is the scientific study of human cultures, societies, and behaviors across time and space. It combines fieldwork, observation, and analysis to understand how different groups of people live, interact, and make sense of their world. It offers valuable insights into behavior, context, and human interactions, which I, as a TPM, find very valuable. So, what does a technical program manager do and how do they fit into an organization? Well, before diving into what a TPM does, let's cover some key elements at a high level of a product manager, one of the TPM's counterparts. A PM's focus is with the product and feature strategy. They help in shaping the long term vision of the product and its market fit. And to accomplish this, PMs are obsessed, in a good way, with scoping product requirements, product adoption, and ultimately user satisfaction. Alternatively, we TPMs focus on cross team collaborations. We live between engineering, product, and the business. We work closely with the engineering teams to identify the potential challenges and workflows needed to support product. We work towards alignment amongst the many teams that we interact with, ensuring that everyone is working towards the same objectives. And we're obsessed, of course, with project life cycles, making sure that the execution and delivery of projects are done in the timely cadence, resource allocation, all while trying to maintain efficiency and impact. We need to always have that at the forefront of decision making. And lastly, project updates, keeping stakeholders informed about the project status, challenges that might have come up, and changes to timelines, always striving for alignment while managing their expectations and increasing impact. Well, with our differences, we do share a scope. We are striving to increase our customers' value and supporting products, projects, and programs that achieve this, making sure that what we're working on contributes directly to the company's objectives and goals. And the powerhouse in any tech company are engineers. Taking these core concepts that intercross, what is essential for TPM? Well, a strong understanding of our engineering teams that we're working closely with, alignment with the business objectives and goals, and adaptability to maintain forward progress with our projects and programs. So let's explore how TPM navigates these three concepts. Now, the anthropologist in me finds that engineering rituals like daily stand ups, code reviews, mirror cultural practices. Both establish norms, reinforce group identity, and facilitate knowledge transfer. Engineering teams develop their own microcultures with distinct values, their own language, and customs that shape their collective behavior and output. Here are some methods from anthropology that I've relied on that can help you master the art of engineer whispering. Participant observation. When starting to work with new teams, applying this method aims to really understand the daily life and the culture of the engineering teams you'll be working with. Join as many of the rituals your teams are practicing. This can actually reveal some bottlenecks in communications and processes, and it could even shed some light on the team dynamics. Decode the subtle dialects. Just as each person communicates differently, the same holds true for engineering subcultures. So, understanding these nuances facilitates better communication, especially when working across different engineering teams. The word sprint for one team might mean 2 weeks versus 1 week for another. And communication styles. Do teams partake in more async or huddle approach? When are they employed? How do they share concerns? Are they vocal? Are they silent? I know with some of my teams, silence speaks louder than words, and there are different approaches I take to get their inputs. But remember, you got to tailor communication to the teams and its members. Lastly, cross cultural comparison. This is perhaps one of the most useful for us TPMs who focus on efficiency and impact. It aims to identify the best practices and innovative solutions across different teams. Having a strong understanding of your immediate team is essential, but every team is different after all, and just because it works for one team doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for another. The goal of this method is really to see what's out there. If it fits with your team, that's great. If it doesn't, maybe it'll serve as an inspiration for you to take something from that practice and create something new that your team utilizes. And then that could potentially be used by another team that is employing cross-cultural analysis. Now, there's many more methods, but these three really help in building and establishing a supportive environment where team members feel valued and understood. One of the most helpful rituals I've come about is that of the roundtables. Taking inspiration from some of the engineering rituals I've attended, we typically tackle one topic within a 30-minute time box. This is really bringing together different team members from different engineering teams, and it's giving everybody a voice. Everybody has to share a thought or a takeaway on the topic, and this is really pushing for that cross cultural comparison method from anthropology. The major benefit, as I've mentioned, is giving your engineers a voice. Through these roundtables, I've come to discover something. As superpowered as I may believe engineers to be, just like Superman, they have a debilitation. Engineers are dedicated and are always willing to do what is needed to meet the business needs and resolve challenges. To that end, the first kryptonite is disruptions to an engineer's time. These come in all shapes and sizes: Slack messages, emails, endless threads, too many meetings in their day, direct contact from stakeholders that are requesting for updates or changes to the scope, which leads to kryptonite number two, scope change. Just as the team is halfway through the project and things are going great, something comes up that is critical or functional that needs to be implemented, all without impacting the already established timeline, which leads us to misguided deadlines. Like all businesses, adaptation to market shifts and how quickly one does so is important, but stakeholders can sometimes be expecting for something to be delivered by a certain date without fully understanding the feasibility, level of effort, and other commitments that a team may already have. And as most of us know, rushed work ultimately leads to an increase in tech debt. So, how do we TPMs go about avoiding or reducing these? Well, translating for the business, managing expectations across the board. Before committing to due dates, validating with the engineering team's estimations to ensure that we can set proper expectations when requests are coming in. In engineering, we can't wait until the product is almost done to decide what its intended use will be. We need specific directions up front to plan towards delivering impact and value, which can be established through milestones. And to avoid scope discussions or new requests, blockers, changes, and dependencies in delivery, taking a single point of contact approach helps. Set up one stream of communication for a source of truth and updates to ensure that everyone is aligned with the current state of the project. And all of this helps with onwards and upwards trajectory. Change is inevitable, but how a team handles change is what's important. A team needs to be flexible and be able to adapt to changing project requirements and priorities while finding creative solutions to keep projects on track or adjust delivery accordingly. Process improvements and continuous learning. We have to be open to new ideas and evolving best practices, leveraging cross cultural comparison to take inspiration from other teams or companies and see how these could potentially be applied to your teams. Part of being a TPM is balancing an optimistic view while playing your own devil's advocate. We need to anticipate blockers, communicate them as early as possible, create enough buffers, and making necessary adjustments to timelines or milestones as these come up. I always like to underpromise and overdeliver. If something is going to take the team 2 weeks, I like to express 3 weeks. And finally, automate when possible. Automate the report and metrics generation, update sharing. If you're using Jira, the automations to contribute and enhance those workflows. Technology is our friend, use it. As our friendly Mandalorians would say, this is the way of the TPM. It's an evolving role that aims to serve the engineers and the business, bridging that gap. At first and throughout the project, we are the liaison, balancing business and engineering expectations with feasibilities, embracing those milestones and buffer zones. Then, when we start execution of a project, we become the bodyguard, protecting the engineers and the programs, all while striving for trust, care, candor, humility, and grit, Algolia's core values. My hope that with some of the methods outlined in this presentation, you may too become an engineer whisperer. Merci beaucoup. I hope you continue to enjoy the following sessions. Happy DEF CON. Back over to you, Chuck.